Right, this is my interview with Basil, marking Basil. How are you?
Good and you?
No,
Good to meet you.
Awesome. Basil, you work for the City of Cape Town. What is it that you do? What's your title?
I'm currently the Director of Digital Transformation and Governance within IT. So I run the digital transformation programs for the city. Formerly, I've been with the city for many years, and I've been the head of supply chain for 7 years.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very easy job.
Tough, very difficult, exciting and challenging.
Yeah, I think as I mentioned before to you, but like public officials are always under severe scrutiny. Even if you have major successes, the political opposition is never going to be in agreement with you. There's always going to be someone who you offend in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
It is a tough gig.
Yeah, the one principle we have in the city of Cape Town is, I think most of us get up every day to do the right thing and to give it our best. And I think this principle that we have in the city is the servant leadership mindset.
Oh yeah.
And we try our best, and I think we are getting there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, let's get down to business. Did I just say business? Let's get down to business. The City of Cape Town, you have a commitment to innovation quite clearly. I mean, you've got a whole job title kind of like, what do you call it, dedicated to it. So talk to me about that. Why are you looking towards innovation? What is it that you're doing to innovate in the City of Cape Town, in governance, in partnerships?
All right. So currently we've been on a 5-year journey so far to basically transform our systems, our IT systems. We are upgrading to a massive platform. Our financial systems, our customer relationship management systems, our end-to-end supplier systems, including human capital and so on. So there's about 12 different systems we plan to implement over the next 5 years. And part of that is important to lay a base for stabilizing the city, but taking the City of Cape Town into a future-fit digitally enabled city for the next 20 years. So the vision is to make the City of Cape Town, really cutting edge in terms of its technology, in terms of its IT systems, its capability to innovate, and make life easier for the residents to be able to access the city, user friendliness for startups and SMEs, and to enable the whole relationship internally within the organization, within the staff, to be a more positive and exciting experience through the use of technology. Benefits for the residents are much easier access, probably cost savings, for suppliers in particular. And I must tell you, this journey has been going on since 2018. I headed the part of the SCM transformation since 2018 with suppliers and startups. We've done quite a lot of work with them through the use of technology to enable business capabilities and doing business in a much more user-friendly way with the city.
Perfect. I mean, Cape Town is one of the quickest expanding cities in how are you keeping up?
Yes.
Like it feels like we already started behind the curve. Your responsibility is to get us like on an international level. Like, is it a tough gig?
Yeah, so we've got a mayor that's very passionate, inspires us, and I think the one vision is to create the city of hope.
Yeah.
And how do you do that without technology? It's almost impossible. So technology and the vision of digital transformation is, how do we take the vision of the city of hope and make it a beacon of hope, not just for South Africa, but for an international stage?
Yeah.
And how do we compete with other international cities and become a smart city, and become a vibrant, robust city, and deal with the challenges we have proactively, and not only for the next 5 years, but for the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that was the next kind of question that I was leaning towards, is Cape Town now becomes something we're not measuring against other African cities, we're measuring against the best in the world, and we really want to compete there, and we can.
Yeah.
but there's a lot of things that still needs to fall in place.
And we are on the journey. I think we've got a strong team at the executive level, driven by a strong political vision, and we've got departments like future planning and resilience,
Fantastic.
which really look at how do we stress test the organizations against different parameters and different scenarios, so we are able and capable to deal with it.
Yeah.
The journey is a long journey because you're taking 28 or 30,000 staff with you on this journey, plus 4 million residents. So it's not a short-term thing.
Yeah.
And we've got many internal units within the city, from the support services to your core departments on this journey of innovation, transformation, and making this progress.
Yeah, I mean, digitization is possibly a big component of that is aimed at reducing the amount of time that it takes to implement these changes.
Yes.
Speaking of time, you've mentioned SMEs and startups. How does that look? Like, how are you supporting SMEs and startups to actually contribute? Do those partnerships form? How important is it to the city of Cape Town?
So we use technology quite strongly to enable SMEs. So just to give you some practical examples, in 2017 we started a community-based vendor program to empower really small companies or small businesses. We started off with a group of 25 suppliers. To date, as I sit here, we are over 1,400. We've probably awarded millions and millions of rands of opportunities to those companies in the last 5 years. We use the automated procurement system for our daily procurement. We started that journey back in 2018. And to date, we have over 7,500 suppliers on this automated system. Last year, we had a great case study with regard to fleet vendors.
Okay.
We had quite an ad hoc model for the last many years, and then we decided, how do we formalize this and make it a space where it's efficient for the city, we get value for money, we achieve cost savings for the ratepayer, but also how do we contribute to startups through creating opportunities for contracts or small value procurements over a period of time versus an ad hoc type of an approach. The journey was a 2.5, 3-year journey. And to date, we've got this panel of vendors of over 350, and the value contribution is over 500 million over the next 3 years. So I think we're making great strides there. If you look at our statistics in terms of our procurement from level 1 contributors or level 1 tier companies, to date we are over almost 5 billion rand. So I think through the use of technology, I'm not going to mention any specific technology by name, but we've used technology to the benefit of also, for efficiency, cost savings, but also for good governance.
Yeah.
Making sure we got audit trails, making sure we got fraud detection systems, we've got proper segregation of functions in the systems and so on.
Yeah.
So I think technology is really at the forefront of most of the things we do in the city.
It's one of the things that I've always, like with startups and entrepreneurship and businesses, like moving quickly is something that people can do very quickly, and when government tends to, well, from an outside perspective, drag their feet, it can be very frustrating. But we never, that word you used was good governance. Your mandate is to protect people, to protect businesses, to protect economies, and that takes time. Like to take everything into account, I don't think we're always considerate of that. The public isn't always considerate of that. Yeah.
I must tell you, with this journey with these suppliers, we really went the extra mile as a city to bring them on board, through training, lots and lots of workshops with hundreds of suppliers. And it's been a great positive experience, and we can see the benefits.
Talk to me about, you mentioned is it a department of future, I'm thinking about future studies as a what do you call it, an academic study, but you mentioned you've got a department dedicated to what the future might look like. What is the future of technology of Cape Town? What is the future of innovation here? What are we looking at?
So the future of technology from an IT perspective or the City of Cape Town perspective is we're on this digital transformation journey. And the principles of that journey is basically how do we get away from paper-based systems, because that in itself has some inherent level of red tape and process-driven and so on. Where we go, take the city into a digital future, the experience of the resident and the customer or the stakeholder being a supplier or a tourist or a business person, you might have different forms of stakeholders. How do you take them on that experience where they're part of this digital process? How do you bridge that digital divide? And you create this platform of collaboration, innovation, and enablement for service delivery, good governance, and achieving cost savings as a collective. There's a lot of value we've seen in the journey that we are heading towards over the next 5 years through automation, from an efficiency, optimization, and cost effectiveness perspective. We are definitely, preparing ourselves to yield the fruits of those efforts.
I want to make mention of a specific example, because I'm always like, when we have these conversations, these big words get thrown around: innovation and technological, digitization, whatever. But one of the things that was a big pain point for me is just getting my license on my car. And I've been dealing with a bunch of private service providers. And the other day I walked into Table Bay. I think there's now a pop-up City of. And the lady said to me, you know what, next time around, just book an appointment for 10 o'clock and you can come. That in itself saves me so much time and effort. Is that an actual feasible example of what it is that you've been doing?
Yes, that is one of it. And there's a lot more that will come through this transformation journey. I think that's the whole idea. We are exploring with the possibility of even using things like artificial intelligence tools, machine learning, emerging technologies, cloud computing, which will bring really great stuff for everyone. And I think, nowadays a lot of people are on the move.
Exactly.
So you want mobile apps or access through mobile devices. So wherever you are in the world or wherever you are in the country, you can be able to do certain things at the touch of a screen.
Well, I mean,
that's the vision.
Perfect. I mean, we're here where innovation is a buzzword, disruption is one of those things, and governance should be no different. We should be moving with the times, and we should be adapting to the current circumstances. I think it's brilliant. You spoke to partnerships, and just quickly, like the South African Innovation Summit gets everyone into the same room, and I think City of Cape Town is contributing to that in a significant way. So that PPP, the private-public partnerships, how important is that? How are you facilitating this?
So those things are driven by legislation and regulation, which we have no control of. And with the public-private partnerships, in a very legislated way, it becomes very complex because there are stakeholders from other legislative environments that have to get involved. So what we do as a city, we've got our own policies and processes that drive how do we want to create the enablement through whether it's startups or SMMEs. We've got our own policies and so on that do that. I think it works a bit quicker and faster for us.
Yeah, I think that must be a very unique challenge. If you're here, you can see what the impact can be, but you're totally dependent on. It's a very unique position that the city finds itself in.
It is, and we've had to navigate myriads and myriads of legislation, which sometimes you would hope that if it was less over-regulated, it makes our journey easier, it makes things happen faster, and so on. But we don't have control over the legislation. We are just one part of the bigger ecosystem that drives it.
If we get back to a personal level, what are you hoping to personally see over the next 5 to 10 years, maybe even in the next 50 if we're still around?
So there's some key things for me. I think at a personal level, to be able to leave this digital transformation journey in a totally new level and a totally new state. It's very ambitious what we're trying to do. We're probably one of the very few in the country, or if not the only one in the country that's on this big journey. But to leave it in a state where the next generation can feel really proud of what we have done. And to leave the city of Cape Town as a collective in a state that is stable, strong, and a smart city for the future.
Perfect. Awesome. That's all my questions. Is there anything that you would like to add to this?
I think maybe on a part, as a parting note, just to say, the summit has given the city an opportunity to showcase itself, and there's a lot of opportunities for suppliers and customers and people in general to have a new experience as we go through this journey. And this journey of digital transformation is not an internal one. As we go through this program, there will be lots of consultations with people out there. So we make it a stakeholder-centric model.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you for the ability to get my license very quickly and on time. It was the best experience I've ever had in a licensing facility. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Awesome. I mean, I don't know what that means to you, but
That was great.